I must speak, I must grow. I'm not a chicken, I'm a rooster. I'm not afraid to speak.
Super, thank you. Welcome to the podcast. This is Let's Talk About It and Skin Young from Skin Rotterdam. And together we will be exploring resources that we've been enjoying from the church and how we can give the church a feedback on how they can better support us as far as mental health is concerned. My name is Muiwa and I'm going to be your host for today. But before we go straight into the discussion with us on this part of the studio, there is a particular data I would like to share with us very quickly. And this is from CBS Netherlands statistics, that 50% of the population of us from age 12 upward are not psychologically healthy. And between age 12 and age 24, 60% of that particular strata is not healthy. So maybe we should start by throwing the question to every one of us. When you hear mental health, what comes to mind? In one word, you have a pen and a paper right in front of you. Just write something, one word that comes to mind when you hear mental health. Anything at all. Just write something. Maybe you can flash me, perhaps, if I can see your writing. Red, what do you have?
Well-being.
Well-being. Good. What do you have, Pim?
I got how you're feeling.
How you feeling? Good. And Peter?
I wrote down loneliness.
Loneliness, okay. Pastor Mabel?
Social pressure.
Social pressure, whoa. That's a nice one. Pastor Rose? Depression, whoa. Awesome. So if I may start with you, Stephen, when you hear mental health, what comes to mind?
Peace of mind.
Peace of mind. Can you say more about that?
I think if you want to be really healthy in your mind, peace of mind is very important. So that's for me, like, also what I've been dealing with. If I have peace of mind, then I'm okay. But if I don't have peace of mind, then it's a little bit problem.
Awesome. Nigel?
I said problems.
Outside problems?
Just problems.
Problems.
Yeah. And the reason for that is most of the time when people suffer with mental health, there's a root for it. And that root has some sort of cause of a problem. And when we find out what that problem is, that's when the root can be taken out of the ground. That's when we'll have his said peace of mind.
Oh, good. Awesome. Crystal?
I think the first thing that came to my mind is stress. And I know that's not healthy and that's not the good part about mental health. But in my experience, a lot of friends of mine and people that I know suffer from a lot of stress, and that is influencing their well-being. Yeah.
Awesome. Adrian, what do you have to say to me?
I've been hearing a lot of stories from my generation, older generation, maybe even younger generations. And it's not as great as you'd like it to hear, like it to be. So, and as Nigel said, there's a root for all those problems, and it can really have a big influence on your life, what you're gonna do, who you are, how you feel. There are way too many people who have fallen into depression, but like a heavy depression. It's not like I'm just having a bad day. Too many people with like problems in their household, or stress from their academic, from the academy, from school, and I just think it's very sad to hear all these problems.
What do you have to say to that?
Well, I recognize a lot of these stories. I'm not the only one of my friend group who have been through a burnout, who has experienced anxiety and all that kind of stuff. So there are, I've seen it with myself and I've seen it with a lot of my friends. And it's so sad to see that it's due to social media pressure or trying to find yourself in this world, trying to gain something, achieve something.
Perhaps you have some reaction to also.
Yeah, what she said is very true, because a lot of people, especially with the smiling, sometimes the biggest smiles have the biggest sadness, right?
Yeah.
And that can be very misleading. Especially like I myself have gone through certain things like that. I know people that used to go through things like that, praise God. the one can really just bash you for the fact that you have some type of mental problem, and the other person can be there for you to really try and help you. And when you're more around the person that is bashing you, that's going to put you down way more until you're sadly maybe even 6 feet under the ground.
Oh. Yeah, talking about bashing from the neighborhood, from...
I wouldn't necessarily say neighborhood per se, because I didn't really go outside that much.
Okay.
But for me, it was more just like maybe some friends. But it was like joking, but sometimes it could still sting. Some jokes are funny in a way, but they can still linger in the back of your mind. Thinking like, oh wait, what do they actually mean by that? Or are they actually thinking that way? And then you're going to get anxious, you're going to start overthinking, and then you're going to do everything on eggshells because you're thinking, oh wait, if I do this, I'll fail. Or if I do this, I'm a failure. And that's not the way it's supposed to be.
It depends on how you feel at that point in time. So when do you draw the line?
I draw the line where in some cases I don't want to do anything. Sometimes when I don't want to do anything, there are two options. Either I really do nothing, not even think, really literally nothing, or I force myself to go and read the word to give myself that peace of mind that I need. Because most of the times when mental problems are there, it's because of a lack of peace of mind. But Jesus said, "Come to me, all who are weary and burdened, and I will give you rest. Take my yoke upon you, because my burden is light."
Yeah.
And these things are very important to remember, that even in those times that you're not feeling well, or you maybe just got screamed at and you're very bad with people screaming at you, you have someone, even not even per se physically, but you have someone that is there for you at all times, that has gone through the same thing as you've gone through in every way, shape, or form, and can comfort you in every way, shape, or form.
So where do you find people like that?
In the most random places.
Random places, like can you cite some examples of those random places?
Yeah, it depends. Sometimes you can find an amazing person randomly on the street,
waiting by the bus,
or maybe in church, or also just some type of maybe like some Christian friend party that's been going on. You just talk to this random guy or girl, and from there on you get an amazing bond.
So what are the common stressors that can put that peace of mind to test your peace of mind?
I think it starts off from home. Let me say that. The peace of mind.
Household.
Household. And it's very important for the parents also to create a safe space for their kids, and the safe space also in the church. And that's what I've been missing like the whole time. Like most kids have a lot of problems going on, but because it's not safe for them at home to talk about it, so everybody just keep quiet. And mostly also, whenever you start talking about mental health, they see you as someone who is weak. So then you keep it to yourself. And then you keep it to yourself. And also then sometimes in the church, like let me say, like if you work a corporate job, you always have a trustworthy person. But in the church, mostly you don't have that.
Yeah.
You don't have no one to go to. And sometimes maybe you are afraid, like, okay, if I talk to this person, maybe it's going to tell it to A or B. That's why I also say peace of mind, because at the end of the day, if your mind's at rest, then everything is cool. But the safe space is for me the number one. If you don't have it at home and also not at church, then...
Yeah, Nigel saw something about meeting people that you're comfortable with in random places. So for you, the church and the household might not be those random.
No, for me, my safe space, I found my safe space with my friends.
Friends, okay.
Yeah. At home is difficult because your parents might be dealing with other things, and maybe they have their own mental state of problem, all this type of stuff, and it's very difficult for them also to be open like that, because I think also from the African perspective, it's just weakness, like to be just open, like talk to your kids, this is going on, this is done, like maybe your dad is going through some tough times, but you don't want to show it to the kids, But maybe by talking to the kids, talking to the family, then all of us can join hands together and help each other. But if you keep it to yourself, then me as a kid, I'm seeing my parents, okay, I say, oh no, it goes like that. Then I'm also not free because the safe space is not there. Mm-hmm. And that's also mostly in some churches what you also see. Awesome. You can't go straight to one of the leaders, let me talk to these leaders, but you don't know, can I trust him? Mm-hmm. Maybe it's like my dad, maybe it's like my mom.
You just touched something like a feedback, for instance, on trust issues. Yeah. Have you experienced a breach of trust at any point?
Yeah, sure.
Household, church, can you be more specific?
From household, yeah. From household, a lot of times though. I don't want to go too deep, but a lot of times there. So that's why I've been keeping saying on the safe space, because it's not always safe as it should be. And that's also, to go more deeper, that's also one of the reasons why you have a distance within the kids and the parents. Okay. Because that's the safe space is not there for them to communicate.
Yeah. One of the things that I think that we should do is change the perspective. Instead of, if you talk about mental health and maybe a place where you're not feeling okay or you're feeling down, that if you talk about it, it's a strength that you talk about it. It's not a weakness. Mm-hmm. It's a strength that you are transparent and you dare to talk about it with friends, families, or even strangers. I think it takes a lot of courage to say it. Mm-hmm. And I think that's the perspective that we should use.
Yeah, true.
Definitely.
Yeah.
It's a very deep problem. It's especially more cultural, as you said, like African perspective, but also for men. We are in general supposed to be like the strong. We need to look strong, but we're also human. We also have our moments. Our life cannot be perfect, you know.
But how is it in your culture?
My culture. Well, personally, I am very thankful to the Lord that I have great parents. I don't have a really strict upbringing. They were very loving and very forgiving. But I have seen and heard from other friends of Asian households. Yeah. They had a very strict upbringing, even till now, even when they're in their 20s or maybe even 30s. For example, like girls not allowed to date. Yeah. And it's been like it feels like they're in the chokehold. And that can also cause a lot of stress, which can cause mental health problems.
Yeah, I think there's still a lot of pressure to perform, finish your education, get a good job. My parents were quite open about mental health problems that my dad and my mom had in the past. So I'm very grateful for that. But it's you still feel the pressure for your generation to finish your education and to find a good job.
Nigel, final word?
It can differ because also some parents are like, okay, talk to me and stuff like that. But I myself personally have not necessarily experienced that because my home situation isn't necessarily always the best. Even from little and sometimes even until now, it's not always the best. And that doesn't really create a trustworthy space, though you know them for so long and they know a lot of things about you that you don't necessarily know. Yeah. But still, you don't think like, oh, I don't want to tell them because one, maybe you don't want to burden them with it, or you don't want it to be thrown back in your face on some random day that it may be mad at you or something. Yeah. That's not stuff that is pleasant whatsoever because you're telling them for a reason. And now that reason is thrown out the window because they're mad. That doesn't make much sense. Yeah.
Thank you very much. Thank you, everyone. This is the end of the first session. Thank you very much. Please, a round of applause for them.